My petitioners who won were the Dandelion. Is that right? And I have... Pete, you're arguing? You can pick a partner.
Any name I would have called out of those 70-some students' names would have done an outstanding job, because the learning is in the preparation, and they all prepared because they were all responsible, not just to themselves, but to a team.
And David, you're arguing.
What Professor Hanna did is she had us break into teams, 6 people, and there was a contentious issue, First Amendment, free speech issue that was before the court a little while ago, and we had to write a brief for the Supreme Court for our side. Everybody spent a remarkable amount of time on it, ready to moot. There's a panel of distinguished practitioners and faculty who are acting as Supreme Court justices.
Are you guys all set?
Okay. Who's the Chief Justice?
Justice Robinson, and she's in the center. Who's going second? Okay, so everybody all set? Any other questions? Great, good luck. Good luck. Fine, don't worry about it. You're going to be great. Good luck.
Okay, may I hear from petitioners, please?
May it please the court. The Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act, or AETA, is an impermissible regulation.
Law isn't as clear-cut as a lot of people think, and that's something that's really unique to constitutional law. There are a lot of public policy considerations and ethical considerations that you need to bring into your decision.
To avoid overbreadth in Vegas.
My goal for them is to really see constitutional law in action. It's about who you marry, who you can love, how you can worship, who you can vote for. So to get that appreciation, you can't just read it, you really got to do it. Right? You got to get into doing difficult problems.
That would be specifically, we have economic damages versus damages, the term interfering, the conspiracy clause is particularly...
But doesn't the economic damages only apply to the penalties and restitution?
Yes, but we have, but damages is also stated in a separate clause, and they can't. It was phenomenal. It was an absolutely great experience to be up there and really, to be pressed and pushed and questioned and grilled for 10 minutes. In front of all your peers and this distinguished panel of judges, which is pretty unheard of for a first year course. On the other side,
it may have that result.
I think what the most unique part of Professor Hanna's way of teaching is that it's based on experiential learning. This type of learning is what gets me really, really excited about studying law.
Applied to them, I believe it was certainly constitutional because they cannot expect that the First Amendment would protect such speech.
At the end of that exercise, they then can see themselves not just sitting in a class and taking an exam, but they can see themselves as doing constitutional law.
It expanded the scope of what's prescribed, correct?
The amendment expanded the scope to include not only the physical and tangible property of an enterprise, but those people who are lawfully and
you have to learn how to think from multiple perspectives and multiple viewpoints, because if you're going to make a good oral argument, you're going to have to anticipate what the other side is going to say.
We believe as the petitioners they failed to really define that term, and we're really glad that all of the justices were able to pick up on that, and that is something that we as petitioners...
One of the things that we do after that exercise is we spend a significant time reflecting.
This is something that is vastly progressive and different.
The idea is if you can teach professionals to reflect on their work, to say what's working well for me, what did I do well, what was I good at, what did I enjoy, what would I do differently, how would I approach this another way the next time around.
I think it's really appealing to figure out how the system in our world works, to be able to get in there and really make changes and know how to use the mechanisms of government and of law.
I see being a lawyer as really learning how to be an advocate for a cause.
I get a tremendous amount of joy from watching them go from frightened first-year students to seeing them really become the kinds of professionals that I want to see in the law. Ethical, smart, creative, thoughtful, and not afraid to face a challenge.